It is great always to hear this level of energy this early in the morning in a room of people talking about energy. We enjoy all of you coming so bright and bushy-tailed to see the second part of our Energy Thought Summit Chicago, the morning session of Thursday, July 23rd. Today is the most exciting part for me because it's the future of the grid. We, passed this prologue, and we had this great prologue yesterday of recapping what stewardship has done to get us to where we are. What we've done in smart spaces, whether they're microgrids or Internet of Things or smart building or smart systems, size and scale, at the end of the day, it's smart spaces. And then we merge that conversation into, well, what happens next in terms of what we invent and what we create? And that was where our Innovation and Invention Forum really, for me, illuminated some of the most valuable lessons. I think the thing that I liked most yesterday was Robbie Wright from Direct Energy saying, ideas are free, hustle is sold separately. And I think the folks that are here are people that are hustling. They have ideas about ideas, but their feet are squarely on the ground. And so I think that's what's so great about not only the speakers, but the attendees here, that we have folks that are so engaged on these topics, so knowledgeable. I could have just had a panel with Jim Eckert from ComEd just talking about storage. It was one of the most riveting conversations I've had on the topic. And already found about 2 different ideas for what we can do to point Jim and the team at ComEd as they develop storage solutions so that they can be the best in what they want to do. And so it's just so encouraging. I did it again. My name is Drew Johnston. I'm the president of Energy Thought Summit. So that's about the 4th time I've done that. Getting better slowly. But, it's a pleasure to be here. And I want to say it's been a great ride so far, and we have a lot set up for today, so I won't be too long. I did want to say, though, this part of the day, we had wanted to create something for the second part that would allow people that 3-4 hours of a lot of meaningful content, and then allow them to go into the city, for that second half of the day. So maybe you told your office it was a full 2-day event, and so you have the last 4 hours of the day to perhaps see something you don't always get to see. So I hope you do get to explore Millennium Park, the beautiful Art Institute. This has been a great venue, and we can't thank them enough. But when we approached Enernoc about what we wanted to enlist them for as far as being the generous sponsor of the day's activities, I think what they really wanted out of us was a comparable level of insight that would inform them about what they want to see. And so I think you'll see in the Future of the Grid panel, we have a really exhilarating range of experts. And we wanted to do something even more special, which was bring that. We had a great international component yesterday, but really flesh out that international component today. In a few of the seats, there are summary reports of what Japan's Smart Communities Alliance has done and what they're working on today. And if you haven't had a chance to get those, there are a few that are left in the front after the break. You can sort of come up and try to steal one of the copies, and I welcome you to do so. It's a great report. It's a great summary. But we have a great lineup, and I'm just so excited. I'm going to get right into it, but first I want to just do a show of hands, quick sort of informal survey. How many folks in this room are from the state of Illinois? Solid. We have a solid 80% from the state of Illinois. How many folks here are from the Chicagoland area? Probably about 60-70%. Okay, great. How many folks are from the utility space? Wow, nice. All right, love to see that, about 20-25%. How many folks are from the equipment manufacturer supplier space? Less than utilities. All right, guys. Hey, utility guys, we're in the majority. And gals, excuse me. So that's a great sense for me. How many folks are entrepreneurs or with a startup or with a new technology group? Wow, that's great. That's a great cross-section. And then last swag, how many people are in the policy realm? All right. 3 or 4, a smattering. And investors. All right, David in the background. Thanks, man. Go talk to him, startups. Great. So, without further ado, I want to go into a quick recap of, or a quick intro for our next speaker, who's Hiroshi Yuge. In Japanese culture, it is respectful to call him Yuge-san. That is a term of endearment, so I always like saying Yuge-san. I don't know why. I like the san at the end. It sounds very cool. Hiroshi Yuge serves as the Deputy Director of the Smart Community Department at the New Energy and Industrial Technology Development Organization. This is oftenly referred to as NEDO. NEDO, the JSCA has about, I think, 280 members, everything from TEPCO to Toshiba to Chiyoda, the engineering firm, across a range of private interests, but it's an engagement and it's a participation with the government. And in America, when we get confused by a challenge, we convene and then we consort, and that's what consortium are for. And in Japan, it's slightly different, and I think the way they approach this, the methodology that they approach these questions of smart cities with, slightly different than how we approach these things. And we're about nothing if not knowledge exchange at Energy Thought Summit. And for us, is a great opportunity to have a meaningful knowledge exchange around best practices, what they do, how they do it best, and then what we can learn from that and what we can share with them. And so I hope we have a very interactive Q&A after Yuge-san's presentation. I think this is a good opportunity for us to hear right here what they're interested in and what we're interested in, all in the same presentation. Yuge-san also serves as the Secretariat of the Japan Smart Community Alliance. Prior to his work with JSCA and NEDO, Mr. Yuge worked primarily with Mitsubishi Electric Corporation. He has more than 30 years of experience covering sales, marketing, development of technology, management. He also has experience with the Japan Electrical Manufacturers Association, is similar to NEMA in the United States. It has a global network for 3 different continents, and he's worked there for 3 years as well. And he worked on a joint venture factory of gas-insulated switchgears in China for 4 years. And Mr. Yuge-san is joined by Akio-san of Chiyoda engineering firm, and he is on the private side of this collaboration. Yuge is on the public side. And without further ado, I'm proud to introduce Hiroshi Yuge.
Good morning, everyone. It's an honor to be here to make a presentation today. Oh, I've forgotten to bring my racket and bow tie. My name is Hiroshi Yuge, and I'm from New Energy and Industrial Technology Development Organization, which is called NEDO, and acting as a secretariat of Japan Smart Community Association, which is called JSCA. JSCA is a public-private organization supported by government, Ministry of Economy, Trade and Industry, which is called METI, and NEDO. And currently working our research project with Zpryme to find out a possibility on microgrid and smart community project. The purpose of today's presentation is, number 1, to greet you all, and number 2, to find out further opportunity to contribute to the US society. And our presentation consists of mainly 3 parts. The first the first part is about JSCA. And the second part is introduction on Japan's energy policy and the experience in several demonstration projects in Japan and the US. The third part is our expectation on our future contribution and partnership in the US. Now, we would like to start from the first part. What is JSCA? JSCA was established in April 2010 with the aim of having international business development for this market. JSCA now has 281 member companies and organizations, including Japanese power utilities, Hitachi, Toshiba, Toyota, NTT Communications, Chiyoda, and so forth. JSCA's mission is to aggressively promote business development into energy sector by utilizing our cutting-edge technologies. Also, contribute to growth of industry and society all over the world. We are facilitating international collaboration and business partnership. For example, we have agreements with Grid-wide Alliance and Smart Grid Interoperability Panel in the US. We are really expecting our research project with Zpryme to find out future opportunities and partners in the US. Well, we'd like to move on to the second part of Japan's energy policy. After the Great East Japan earthquake in 2011, Japan's energy policy is dramatically changed. Mainly, we have 3 points. In 2015, created a new comprehensive and competitive energy market by moving in vertically integrated market. In 2016, full liberalization of entry to electricity retail business starts. In 2018 to 20, before Tokyo Olympic, separation of electrical power production from power distribution and transmission. With regard to energy mix, current situation is like the one after the red arrow. METI announced this April about the energy mix prospect in 2030. That is, renewable energy goes to 22 to 24%. Nuclear power goes to 20 to 22%. And fossil energy goes to 56%. Our role is to keep and increase the portion of renewable energy by promoting the technique of EMS, microgrid, etc. as a solution. Then we'd like to move to the experience in demonstration projects in Japan and outside of Japan. METI conducted 4 large-scale demonstration projects in Japan from 2011 to 2014. The characteristic of each project is, one is apartment complex with HEMS and solar, and residential area composed of many houses with smart house including EV, and metropolitan type for demand response, and local community with the method of the critical park. There are totally 4 with this term. Sorry, good suggestion. Okay. Too small, sorry about that. Then we'd like to move on to the demonstrations in the US. That is New Mexico demonstration, which was implemented in Los Alamos and Albuquerque and finished in financial year 2014. And also, ongoing demonstration is implemented in Hawaii, Maui Island. The characteristic is in New Mexico, by using micro EMS, energy management system, with hybrid batteries, control high penetration of renewable energy, and smart house get income through HEMS cost optimization. And in Albuquerque, BEMS of one building work as one microgrid system. This project was done with a power company in New Mexico, PNM, NEALM, and SNL. Talking about the demonstration in Maui, the characteristic is maximizing the use of renewable energy by managing EV charging. This project was proceeded with HEI. As you know, the electricity cost in Hawaii is quite expensive, and we believe that our technology can contribute well. And in an isolated island, we can integrate the system using our SEMS and micro EMS technology, and also by using control of EV chargers, etc. As a summary of this presentation, through these demonstrations, we are accumulating technologies for real business. And in Japan, we have earthquakes. Here, we have earthquakes. And here in the US, you have hurricanes and flood. The needs for the resiliency is the same. Technology of isolated operation by micro EMS, BEMS and HEMS is useful. And also, the necessity to expand the usage of renewable energy is also the same. The technology of control high penetration of penetration and usage of EV, etc. is useful. And we are brushing up these technologies really useful for the market. Through this presentation, we are strongly expecting that we can get a chance to contribute to the US. Thank you very much for your kind attendance.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, no, stay here. So we're going to bring up Christine Richards as well, our research director, who's been working with the Japan Smart Communities Alliance on this project, going over some of the finer elements of what the Japanese have done, as well as what they're interested in the U.S. market. Yuge-san, if I may, I would love to see the second slide of stage 2 of the Hawaii project. I think there's actually generally a lot of, beautiful. So I think this is really interesting, partially because the virtual power plant makes a lot of sense conceptually. And I think that price-wise in Japan and Hawaii, you're looking at different prices for the feasibility of this than what would make it work in the United States, right? In the rest of the United States. So maybe share with us a little bit about this. I think this is perhaps one of the most interesting parts to me. If you don't mind, if that's okay, we would love to hear that.
Okay. Actually, this project is ongoing in Maui, and this is phase 2 of that one. And at first, I should explain you from the first one. And first one doesn't include discharge. Thank you again. Mainly, my point is this car charger, using this one and control the fluctuable renewable energy, taking renewable energy, and if there are too much, then sorry. The usage of energy too much, then cut. That orders comes from the EVCC to here. This is only like a one way, no discharge and no power from this side. And this demonstration has completed, and currently moved to the second stage. That is this one, and as you can see here, evaluate using integrated and controlled EV battery discharge and management of distributed loads, including Grid-X as a virtual power plant, VPP. Actually, we can say that this concept almost the same. Actually, this time up to here, and we call this virtual power plant, and in the future can expand to including potential and other storage batteries discharge. Okay. Currently using this one from the car discharge and going to V2G like this. This is the current situation.
So, do you have the 500 volunteers? All 500?
Yeah, for the cars, EV cars. To get that number, I'm sorry, I'm not sure.
Okay.
But near that numbers.
Okay.
There, yeah. Please.
Morning.
Sorry.
I'm curious, are those 500 volunteers going to be clustered together on a single feeder or substation, or are they going to be scattered around the different parts of the
I guess scatter and check. And in that case, this one is mainly this charger also scattered, and sometimes there is co-usage. What do you call it? Rental car, not a rental.
Oh,
but,
okay.
borrow car put here, and car share. Sorry, car share. In case of that, there is a car. Few move, then we can easy to use that.
EV is a Nissan's one,
Of course.
based on the CHAdeMO standard.
Good. Great.
Okay, so now we want to open it up for Q&A from the audience. And again, my name is Christine Richards. I'm the research director here with Zpryme. And thank you so much, Yuge-san. That was wonderful. So a first question that I have for you is, I mean, we've heard a lot about what's happening here in the US at this event. And now we've heard a little bit about Japan. Yuge-san, what are some of the similarities that you've really seen between what's happening between the US and Japan in terms of developing the next generation of technologies for the grid?
Okay, got it. As I mentioned at the last part of my presentation, I think that basically they are similar situation and trend. And as for the technique, we need a DR method, manually, automatically, and energy management system. And for resiliency, it's also important. And we can use microgrid and sometimes using this system, etc.
Yeah, I think that's a big thing we've seen with the resiliency and, with natural disasters or weather, things like that. So it's definitely something that we've seen. So what questions do you all have? Any questions? Yeah.
I'm Ben Steiner with Mitsubishi Electric. Just wondering, is it the same type of batteries for frequency control and for other charging? Are you using all same type of batteries?
It's a good question. This is a type of hybrid type to make the best usage of both merits. Okay. The basic concept of supply demand management by a micro EMS is shown here, and in the demonstration period, it aims to stabilize the power flow at PCC, point of common coupling, by the microgrid, which is considered to be a unit controlled by an EMS. Basically, hybrid batteries, NAS, and lead-acid batteries are optically controlled by micro-EMS to respond to the fluctuations of loads and PV output to stabilize the power flow at PCC. That is to say, to balance the supply and the demand within the microgrid. Considering the characteristic of energy strategy, long-term variations are controlled by NAS battery, and short-term variations by lead-acid battery. NAS battery that handles long-term variations can ensure long-term operational stability by scheduling the SOC, state of charge, in this management scope. Sorry to read this.
No, that was a great question. What other questions? Yeah.
Hi, I'm Jonathan Roberts with SoCore Energy. We've been looking a little bit at microgrids as well, and I was curious for a comment from you on how you model the system performance. What kind of software do you utilize? It's one thing modeling wind or solar photovoltaic, but when you model a microgrid, it's a very complex system, and I'd be curious how at NEDO you performed your analysis to model the system.
I think by using micro EMS, energy management system, and the control is at the PCC. Then within the microgrid, it controls well. And as a result of the New Mexico, about 1/5, that is 20% of the high volume of the renewable energy can take into the system, and no fluctuation. Up to 20, maximum 20% have been already proved. It's okay to your question?
So I think maybe what type of software do you use for your modeling? When you're doing the testing?
That in what we call micro EMS. That's a kind of one. Software based.
Scott Bernstein, Center for Neighborhood Technology here in Chicago. Going back to my question about clustering versus scattering, in the U.S., between 50 to 65% of delivered energy costs rest with the transmission and distribution systems. So if you can take the load off of local substations and feeders, there would seem to be an additional set of benefits that would occur in the way of less stress on the system and increased reliability. Are you planning to test for the benefits of clustering, either in the Japanese or the Hawaiian or the New Mexico system?
Please. Instead of me, my colleague Nagatsuka-san had no chance to stand in front of you.
It's depends on the situation and the location of the demonstration. For example, we have for the Japan domestic demonstration throughout Japan. So for example, that might include the distribution automation to absorb such the, for example, rise in distribution level, the voltage in distribution level. So also, also the New Mexico project and the Hawaii and Maui Island project, that include the control and management of the distribution level.
Ben Seda with Carbon Strategies. I had a question early on. You had the profile of the generation mix where it was LPG and coal and oil. How is that going to evolve? How is that going to evolve in the future, and how are you accounting for that in your project?
This is not easy to see, but this is coal and oil, LPG, and LNG, and this is nuclear power is violet, and hydropower is blue, and including hydropower and renewable energy, this comes to 22 to 24, and nuclear power, this part goes to 20 to 22, and around here, this part goes to 56. That's the contest. And
Okay. No, that's good. I know, Drew, you had another
I'd love
question.
to see a quick summary of the Keihana and Yokohama demonstration projects.
Okay.
I think those are interesting because I think they're unique.
From here.
Yes, HEMS and solar.
At a demonstration in Keihana, HEMS and solar, 51% reduction in CO2 emissions and 62% reduction in peak demand. And in Yokohama City, it achieved a maximum peak demand reduction rate of 15.2. And in Toyota City, there's a kind of smart house, and demand response demonstration of awarding of points had been initiated from 2012. It achieved 18.7% CO2 reduction.
So what is your customer feedback? There's so many of these involving actual human beings in actual homes. What are they saying? It's hard, it is difficult, or are they saying they like it?
This point system is a kind of DTR, and it reflects. But actually, this number is not so good.
Yeah.
自分の反応？はいはいはい。そうそう。
Okay. We worked on Pecan Street, and you did as well, Pecan Street project, and I think there's interesting juxtaposition between this and the Pecan Street project in Austin, Texas. Your last slide also showed some interesting comparative information for the U.S. versus Japan, different styles of living and different results, maybe.
I think the customer engagement piece is definitely a theme that we've seen across both countries in terms of the adoption of these different technologies and all that. So, okay, another question.
Thanks. This might be for you too, Christine, but what thought have you given to scaling up the results of this to actually make this replicable? And from a vision point of view, who should be offering these services? Is this a product that the current utilities offer? Are there independent microgrid providers that would aggregate these loads? What do you imagine for these?
Yeah, I think something that we saw, we had the opportunity to go to Japan a couple of weeks ago, and it's very interesting there in terms of the deregulation that's going on. There are massive changes that are going to happen within Japan in terms of, there's going to be a lot of competition introduced, and a lot of these projects, there definitely is testing going on, pilot projects, but it sounds like Japanese companies are really looking at how can we take this to scale? How can we take it to that next level? And it was fascinating just to see all these different technologies that were being used across many different communities. So I think that, I think it's very similar here to the US, where we have a lot of these demonstration projects, and we're just looking at how do we take it to that next level. And I think that's some of the challenges that we're seeing Japanese companies work through as well. So just to close things out, thank you so much, for taking the time to talk today. And what do you see in terms of, partnership opportunities between Japan and the U.S.? What are some things that you see?
As I told you, our purpose coming here is to promote the collaboration and also good partnership to make. And today, after this, also I'd like to change cards with you and with our good communication, stronger communication can make a better result. And let us please allow us to contribute to the U.S. societies. Thank you very much.
Yes. All right. So please join me so much in thanking Yuge-san. Yes. Thank you. Thank you.